Greetings, this is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster, and this is a very brief ad thingy. Yes, FanimeCon 2018 is going to happen. I'm going to be there. Well, 4 days, we're going to be there. First, to go to Han Solo, a Star Wars spin-off, and then go to the convention. So that's what I will do, that, and then the convention. Yeah, so everything is all set, and Mark's Cards will be here tomorrow. He's not going to the convention, but he'll be here tomorrow. I'm not sure if we'll have any footage of maybe a brief snippet of him, a few minutes. Anyway, so yeah. As I said on one of the other blogs, don't expect anything more about Channel Awesome. I don't know anything more. Or why the SAP production stuff. I don't know anything more about that either. Why that has ended several years ago. Before that, yeah. So we will see you at the convention. Yeah. Greetings, Kal Kat, the Kal Katster. You're watching the show for tonight. So here we have, only because tonight is very long. Suffice it to say, I guess this little brief thing will be stuff that happened that is not on the slideshow. So this little snippet will be in there. There was a bus ride going there where there was a schizophrenic, insane lady on the bus with black hair who was. She asked what time it was, but then she started twitching and like doing signs, but she wasn't doing signs. She was just twitching randomly, her like nervous tics, but like really jarring ones. Anyway, so yeah, that was weird. There was also at one of the near the burrito place, the Burritozilla, which I didn't go into. There was a couple of scantily clad costumed people, one of which was a heavy-set lady, Rubenesque lady, who didn't care that she was spilling out of her costume. Empowerment. She didn't care. And her girlfriend didn't care either. She also was spilling out of hers, so sure. Why not? Anyway, so yes. Anyway, you could tell where all the giblets were and so forth. The happy flappies, BC cap. I don't think it was meant for dudes though, because I don't think she was into that. She was into her friend, a chick. There were plenty of very effeminate dudes there, and there were plenty of. Then that was fine. Nobody was. I remember a couple of years ago, the Republicans were freaking out over the men are going to be perverts and go in the wrong bathroom and say their gender like they're women. They think they're women, but they're men. That doesn't happen anymore at all. It didn't really happen then too much at all. It was mostly mistake, like people went in the wrong room or something. Yeah, the hyper-conservatives were concerned that men would be creepers, and even though they weren't really worried about that, they were just be discriminating against people. They weren't really worried about that. They wanted their own creepering to happen, so that they were being weird about that because the senators and election people. Yeah, that did not happen this time at all. All the men stayed in the men's bathroom. I don't know, maybe some men went in the women's. I don't know. I didn't go in the women's. There was nobody pretending so they could get a peek at a guy's dick. That was not happening. So, anyway, so nothing like that happened. Different things that were going on. Okay, Fanime Con. I'm going to go into Fanime Con. Friday. Yeah, this time Friday's events and festivities were far more kinetic and lively, and got to show the opening of the whole thing, all the way. And didn't show what opening ceremonies really. Caught them very briefly because I think when the ceremonies happened, I was doing something else. But yeah, but people were already milling about before that. There was really no line con because if you prepaid and you went through the internet sign in scan thing, yeah, there was like 4 people in line at the beginning. Pays to come in the first day. I'm sure tomorrow it will be insane. Line con. Now, unlike the Comic Con, Silicon Valley, which has a lot of main guest star people from all over the place, from Hollywood and TV and stuff like that. You get Hollywood movies and Hollywood television. You get a lot of anime people. The panels that were allegedly going to happen in the hotel Fairmont weren't happening in the hotel the Fairmont, which is why you would see footage of that on the thing. You'll be like, where is everybody? Because there's nobody there. They were, however, showing some movie screenings, which I will check out tomorrow. Mostly go to screenings and watch like previews and things like that because that's cool. Movie screenings. So I do a couple of those. I'll do other things like that. But anyway, today they were screening a couple of anime movies. Giant Robo was one of them. I didn't go and watch that. Although, yeah, you'd think I would watch that, but I caught the tail end of it, so I didn't. I understand that one of the Robotech people from Harmony Gold is wandering around there somewhere. Also, didn't see him though. The two groupie band things was going on. There was, yeah, there was some entertainment going on upstairs as well. At one point, there's bands and stuff. I'm assuming they're going to be there on Saturday and Sunday, and that they will be much more animated. It'll be all rocking music going on in the background, J-pop and K-pop, Japanese and Korean pop music. From the videos that I scanned through on there, at first it doesn't look like there's anyone there in some of those scenes, but that's mainly because in those particular areas it hadn't filled up with people yet, or they came in masses and then would go out. So actually, by the time of the opening of the thing, there was the opening of the dealer's room. There was a crowd of hundreds of people, maybe upwards of 200, 300 people, all wanting to like just go en masse into that dealer's room, fill it up, looking for stuff. And nobody was buying stuff yet because they literally just opened the doors, but they all went in, and yeah, that was interesting. The dealer's room is interesting. It has lots of stuff, bizarre stuff. A lot of these little cutesy things. Guess that's the thing. There were a lot of the costumes were emulating a cat girl or a lamb girl or some sort of anthropomorphic animal with what like light platinum hair, and a lot of people were that. Not so many. There were some Sailor Moon, but not very many of them. It's mainly the other characters. There's some other, because that schoolgirl uniform of the Sailor Moon is kind of a thing with a lot of anime. So it could have been anyway. I recognized that some of it was of the some of the more odd ones, strange ones with the sort of horror themed were there's a spoof one about. There's a spoofy one that's about a killer assassin high school. That's one of the things that a lot of them were dressed up as. Yeah, so they were doing that, or they were doing Death Note or something like that. So I looked up some of the stuff that was going on that they were dressed up as beforehand, um, but not all of it. Well, this year is gaming is the theme, so the game room was larger than usual, and there was a lot of activity in there, including some Dance Revolution stuff and some VR stuff and kind of fun things to look at and observe people acting crazy at the games. That was before the dealer's room was open. The game room was opened earlier. There was it was cool. So there was a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, I'm not too into the gaming, so I don't know what I'm really looking at. But yeah, and even though Starship Locations is supposed to be a game, it didn't have really that yet. It's mostly short stories that are just and novels, things. It's not really a game, not really scripts, I guess. Anyways, so I did show the hotel room stuff, the upstairs. I did not show the haunted escalators that were breaking down, including one that stopped. Uh, they're making a horrible noise. The escalators like clank, 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 clank. Maybe somebody was like buried inside it or something. At the hotel, the La Fairmont. Of course, the Bichon Bakery was in there, and actually they were kind of ignoring the tickets you take out. It wasn't very busy. There were other people over there, and I think I mentioned on one of the other little snippets that there were many empowered people that did not care that they were in costume. And many of them did not care that they were scantily naked. They were not expecting to be exploited. They were just enjoying running around. Like, they just didn't mind doing that. That's cool. And also there were a couple of people in drag, but they were not in the. They were not being creepers. They don't really do that. Despite the hyper Republicans going on about that years ago, and despite about one or two people outside the place doing the whole righteous thing, like costuming is evil. Oh. There was some of that, but not as much. No, it's not evil. There's nothing in the Bible about wearing a costume. It was a gloomy day outside, so it was kind of like that. But yeah, yeah, it's just what it is. It was Fanime. I will be going to more things. I figured out what the panels are. That's good. Many of them just weren't open yet. The ones that were anime guys from current stuff that I have no idea what it is. So, at least last year they had a Sailor Moon panel, and I was familiar with the first couple seasons of that show, so seeing what they were doing now made sense. It's like, okay, we'll see what they're doing now. Right now. I don't know what happened with that after that. That's back in the 80s. Everybody watched that show in the 80s. Everybody. But yeah, early 90s. But yeah, it was one of those staple shows after Gem and the Holograms that was geared toward the girls audience. So that was kind of a cool thing. You had this like superhero girls. It's like Wonder Woman type of deal, but with magic girls. The idea of that was kind of fun. I guess they still do that in some form or another. Fun for them, yeah. You don't often see that. You know what else was funny though is is there's at least 3 panels on hentai. If you don't know what hentai is a form of Japanese animation, and it can also be it also can be in book form. Hentai and henkai, not henkai, but hentai, and henkai is just a character. Hentai is a adult themed animation. Of course, that's actually mentioned there. Apparently, the adult themed panels were later in the day. I didn't go to them, but maybe there will be one tomorrow. Yeah, don't look that up. Incidentally, yeah, unless you're not squeamish, you can look it up. Rule 34 is alive and well over there at the convention. So yes, that's I guess the recap of Friday. That isn't from the slideshow. To include that I didn't go to. Oh yes, and do find on YouTube, because I didn't film it. I couldn't film myself doing it. Kal Kat doing old school breakdancing, including the butt spin with the twirling around and the C, the break, the backward robot, and all that. There is footage of me acting insane on the floor in front of like a bunch of teenagers who brought a boombox and turned it on. They weren't some of the. They weren't the official Yaxi and Aike and the other two. I'm probably saying their names wrong. They weren't the official bands because their buddies kept looking around and going, like, "We're gonna get kicked out if we do this because they're gonna kick us out because we're not supposed to do that." So like, yeah, but yeah, so they were doing this like on the floor in the first floor of the convention center, and they weren't supposed to. They did it anyway. So yeah, so people joined in and they did like a dance off, dance fighting dance off thing. And of course, Kitty Key, the martial sportist, and of course me as well, were martial artists at one point for several years. So Tai Chi forms and dance forms and Japanese animation dance forms are very similar. So sure, I just kind of knew moves that I used to know from years ago and used to show the dancing and moves. And I must introduce them to all the old school stuff like the moonwalk and the centipede and the spin. And they did some of the spinning. These young guys, it looked like they were like 15 or something. They were going on. They probably were older because they're Asian. They looked younger, but they weren't too much older than that. And two of them were really, really good at dancing. So yeah, they're that good at that young. They're going to be really, really good later on, or really arthritic. my age. By the time you get to my age, they'll be like, I can't move. But yes, the moonwalk and the robot. They were doing the robot a lot. It's like the robot's still around. That's awesome. And I'm sure there were some people that were my age that were all, oh, he's doing like old like MC Hammer and Michael Jackson. Yeah, pretty much. A little bit of MC Hammer. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson. Yeah. Anyway, Snoochie Boochies.